The Pirates of the Caribbean franchise is one of my favourite film trilogies, one I grew up with and have a deep affection for. I say trilogies because I always felt the fourth film was rather flat and the fifth a forgettable bowl of complete emptiness. It's Gore Verbinski's films which I cherish, and with each rewatch I appreciate more and more of the film's craft and creativity. The movies are about so many things: a son looking to save his father, a doomed romance, a cursed love, an empire looking to control the seas. But beyond all of this, there's Johnny Depp's immaculate portrayal of Jack Sparrow, carrying the franchise on his back. Today I wanted to talk a little about Jack Sparrow's entrance in The Curse of the Black Pearl, and how there's a lot more to it than first meets the eye. I've always loved this scene. It's one of the many instances in the saga, well, the first three at least, where the music and the images are combined to create something awesome, like Davy Jones playing the organ as Will and his father meet on the Flying Dutchman, the initial attack of the Kraken on that trading boat in Dead Man's Chest, and 6 of the central characters meeting for negotiations on a small island at World's End. The music in the trilogy is incredible, and Verbinski knew how to use it, with Jack's entrance the first real example in the first film of us getting a sense of the swashbuckling epic adventure feel the film and the trilogy will have. It's just a damn good scene. And recently I was rewatching the films, showing them to my kids, and it struck me that the scene is not only entertaining, but deeply informative regarding the nature of Jack Sparrow.
There should be a captain in there somewhere.
So let's talk about it a little. The scene comes off the back of a timid Will Turner unable to bring himself to call Mrs. Swan her first name in front of her face. An awkward but cute little scene. And all of a sudden, we get Klaus Badelt and Hans Zimmer's rousing, epic, triumphant score firing on all cylinders, with a low angle circling around this new man that gives us the impression that he's clearly some kind of important, larger-than-life character, a force of nature commanding a ship. He's watching the horizon, looking majestic and solemn. He looks determined and cool in spite of the wind in his face, and it's only upon many rewatches I actually realised he isn't just staring aimlessly into the distance. He's actually looking at the ship he intends to steal later, his eye on the prize. We hold there until the wide shot, which reveals that he's actually in a tiny little dory, and not only that, it's sinking. He's on his own, and he's reduced to using a bucket to keep the boat afloat. The cut to the wide shot is also a lesson for us that we shouldn't be quick to judge. There's more to things than first meet the eye, which is something true of many elements of the pirate saga, whether it be Will and his heritage, Sparrow's compass, or the bullet he reserves for his nemesis Barbossa. It's a mistake the British make with Jack, underestimating and dismissing him as the worst pirate they've ever heard of, until Jack's genius gives him the ability to not only escape their clutches but take one of their ships. With the music still maintaining its epic tone while we watch Jack throw water out of the boat, it creates a humorous oxymoronic tone, a kind of contradiction between what we're hearing and what we're seeing. But in any case, we can clearly see that Sparrow is a man not unafraid to get stuck in the mud, to get his hands dirty as he tries to keep the boat going. I always love the fact that the music takes a break from its pace and Jack decides to stop bailing to pay his respects to the fallen pirates. It shows us that this man does have a sense of honour, a code he follows. Though he will later be established as a thief and a con man, he's still clearly honourable enough that without anyone here to watch him, he will pause trying to stop his boat from sinking just to respect his fallen comrades. The little salute he does, I think, can be interpreted in two ways. It may be simply that it's an extension of his salutations toward the dead pirates, or it might be an acknowledgement of the warning, in that Jack has read it, understood it, but will continue on, in a kind of challenge accepted kind of way. And of course, it also confirms to us that he is indeed a pirate, something which for the next few minutes of the film's runtime wouldn't be exactly 100% confirmed until Norrington discovers the mark on his arm. Then we cut away to the locals busying themselves until they start to notice the incoming ship. And then we get that hilarious shot with the music orgasming to its climax of Jack looking heroic, epic, a sense of grandeur and majesty about him, as the boat hilariously sinks in spite of Jack's pose, synchronizing perfectly to allow Jack to easily step off. It really speaks to the mystery surrounding Jack. Did he time it perfectly? Is he actually that brilliant? Or, as this image suggests, is he deluded? Does he have an image of himself that sometimes comes through, but for the most part, reality doesn't share? Or is it that he's simply lucky that reality bends to his will? He makes it up as he goes along and just rolls with whatever happens, making the most of it and thinking quick on his feet with the limited options he has. There's many scenes in the saga that would suggest he's not an idiot, and plenty that would suggest that he's actually a genius. That's the brilliance of Captain Jack Sparrow, and everything we need to know about this character is encapsulated here in this small scene, the sequence capturing every facet of his persona.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
You wouldn't even know the boat has sunk from the way Jack just keeps going like nothing's happened. Of course, he has no intention of returning to the boat, as he's here to steal another one.
A better one.
A better one.
Jack then very easily enacts a bribe with the money man, and immediately does him over by stealing from him, losing nothing, but displaying his wit and cunning. We know what we need to know about him, and yet we don't even know his name yet, as he doesn't want his interlocutor to know, in spite of Jack constantly reminding us what his name is throughout the rest of the movie. We know his loyalties, his occupation, his persuasiveness and charisma, his luck, and his endearing spirit, all from this small little scene before we even know his name. So what do you make of Jack's entrance? Let me know in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel for more videos, and thanks for watching.